All right, fellow TFFL owners, welcome back to the TFFL webcast. It's Wednesday, December 10th, and we are looking ahead to the semifinals of the TFFL playoffs 2014. It's week 15 of the NFL season. I'm Stick, managing editor of TFFL Media, joined as always by Hank, Berto, and our commissioner chief. Only one of our franchises now left in the playoffs. Good luck, Berto.
Thank you.
Okay, so later on in the show, we won't be talking about race relations in America, torture, whether it's justifiable under any circumstances, and global warming. None of those topics. First, we're going to go right around the tube. Not a lot on our agenda tonight other than the two playoff games. But first, I do want to bring up a couple topics regarding the two franchises who just lost in the playoffs. I kind of feel obligated, sorry, Hank, to at least bring up Peyton Manning, his flop, frankly, for the K-Wheels, a catastrophic flop. Chief, we've heard you talking about trading away Tom Brady for fear of a weather-induced bad game. That really wasn't the case here. Are there any lessons to be learned, or do we just say, God, bad luck, and move on?
No, I think the clear lesson here is to start Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. I mean, look. Playing Buffalo, it's a tough matchup, obviously, but how can you possibly think Peyton Manning is going to post a 0? Could he post a 6, a 10? Sure, that would be a horrible game, but that would have been enough. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here talking about Peyton Manning posting a 0,
yeah,
I would have bet anything that would not have been the topic of conversation tonight. I'm crushed. I'm devastated. I don't know what to say. Everybody, I mean, Julio, DeMarco, Jamal Charles, Calvin Benjamin scored. I mean, I can't complain about anything other than my captain putting up a 0 in the playoffs. Biggest moment, and he fails.
So a choker.
He sort of mimicked his NFL career, right? He doesn't win the big.
Has he ever won a Pact Bowl?
No.
Obviously not with me.
Choker. Listen, and I doubt Peyton Manning has ever put up a 0 before. If we start playing fantasy in his rookie year, I don't know, maybe once, twice at the absolute maximum, maybe his rookie year, we would have thrown up a 0 there. Probably never happen again. It's just one of those things. Wrong place, wrong time.
No, and I hope I'm not repeating something that somebody mentioned while I stepped away there. But I'm going to say something we heard about all day on Sunday. Yeah, this was 51 straight games he had a touchdown pass, right?
Right.
This was a freak occurrence, and it sucks for the K-Wheels.
It's I'm not, maybe I should be surprised. I just feel like that's my luck with fantasy. I care way too much about this freaking stupid thing that we do here, and I'm pissed, and I'm bummed, and I'm sad, and bah. So.
I was glad that you care.
Yeah, I care.
I mean,
Good that you care.
I don't think the League of 12 Knicks would work very well.
Okay, next topic. Let's move on from Peyton Manning. I'd like to think of myself perhaps as the Adam Schefter of the TFFL. I'm constantly collecting whispers and insights from sources around the league.
Whether we're planting misinformation or not.
Well, and so it's interesting. Just an hour or two before, well, a couple hours before the webcast tonight, I got a very interesting text from the Beavers, and he didn't say this was off the record, so I'm going to dare bring it up because it's something we've been talking about all season long. It's been one of the themes of the season. The Beavers with three first-round picks in 2015, and yet a chance to go for a title this year. Didn't use any of those picks to make a trade. We had Bill on the show, and he made it clear he didn't want to trade those picks. He was committed to really probably winning next year and beyond. But he texted me and said he is still sick, of course, about Monday night. The Beavers were thinking championship. Honestly. Digest that for a second.
I'm sorry, Stick broke up. They were thinking what? Championship?
Thinking championship. Honestly, he says.
Of course. The Beavers look great, but
did they
I don't know. I'm still befuddled that they didn't make any sort of move, really. But
let me chime in real quick on this whole pressure to make a move. You know, the last 2 seasons, I've traded away top picks to get Andre Johnson and Antonio Gates. So Hank checks the box in making a move, and they both put up a freaking bagel this week when I needed them. So this whole karma that I feel like has been driving this, you got to make a move, you got to mix it up, you got to do something. You know what?
No.
Screw that.
No.
But you get work out, and it's not. That's not the reason the Beavers lost. The Beavers are sitting beautifully. They have a great.
It is the reason the Hams won.
But that's exactly getting C.J. Anderson, making a move was a
Getting
huge
Roethlisberger.
move
They
for
would
the
have beat
Hams.
there without Roethlisberger.
Yeah, good for the Hams. Let's see them win it. You know, they win
No, but
the
Phil-
Pac Bowl. It's freaking fantastic.
Phil, just to respond to that, I think the point is, how can you make your team better? And if you have the opportunity to do it and you have the picks to do it, you know, you gotta, even if you make a move just to see what happens. When you have, Greg Olson or Brandon LaFell in the lineup, although LaFell's played well, maybe there's something that can be done there.
For who?
How can you make it? And especially when you have 3 first-round picks, can you make a big move? Not a, let's face it, Antonio Gates. Yes, you did make a move, but that's not a huge move. You did what you had because you're missing some picks too. But he had the opportunity to make a big pick, and I know big trade. I know hindsight's 2020. Hindsight's 2020, of course.
There wasn't a big trade to be made. There wasn't. We talked about all the trade scenarios. We talked about sending 3 firsts for LaShawn McCoy. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't have won the game. I mean, I think we've misplaced pressure on a trade. There are trades that make sense. You absolutely should try and maximize what you can do for your team. But this incessant idea that you gotta make a move, I'm on the other side. I got 2 cases here.
I agree with you.
Well, but hold on real quick, Chief, because you made the point in your commissioner report this week, maybe kind of subtly, but that Berto surprisingly didn't make a move down the stretch.
Yes, and I tried.
And I suspect that's because he didn't have the ammunition that the other owners had.
Yes.
I nibbled a little bit at the fringes, offering some mid-round picks to get some depth. But I kind of agree with it, though. A lot of times making a move is for making a move's sake. How many guys tend to be available you can say are a clear improvement on your team and are worth the future investment?
But
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but who knows what he could have gotten? And again, this is hindsight, but I did say it at the time that I thought he should have made a move, right?
Let's throw an interesting hypothetical with the one team that was clearly a seller. What if Thornburg offered Ralph 3 firsts or 2 firsts and a second for Jimmy Graham? If you're Ralph, do you make that trade? If you're Thornburg, do you offer that trade?
Right. Ralph would never make that trade. Ralph isn't trading Jimmy Graham. He's not. And I mean, I think that's the other problem is that we talked about before as well, that there were no players to be had.
Would you make that trade? If you were Ralph?
I wouldn't make it.
Rebuilding.
I can tell you I offered 2 firsts and a second, I think, to Ralph a year or 2 ago for Jimmy Graham, and he turned me down. Now, different circumstances, he's more of a seller at this time, but nonetheless.
Right.
No, I think there's points on both sides of this. Hank's got a point that I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure to just make a move, and unless you're really confident about a move, maybe you shouldn't do it. It comes down to does the move pay off or not. It looks great if it does, and
right. I think let me just say this, and you're right. You shouldn't make a move just to make a move. I agree with that, Phil. But on the other hand, he flat out came out and said week whatever we had him on, 6, I don't know, 7, whatever week it was,
Bill.
that he's not going to do anything.
Right.
You know, good for him that he stuck to his guns, but I also think that he should have opened up the possibility that maybe, you know, he had a prime chance to make a run this year. What could he actually put together to make some sort of a blockbuster deal? That's all. I agree with you. Don't make a trade to make a trade for trade's sake, but if there's something you can do to improve your team and not have, you know, potentially Greg Olson in the starting lineup, do it.
Yeah, so my question that maybe Thornburg will answer for us is, you know, when he tells me that the Beavers were thinking championship, when exactly did they start thinking that? Because if they thought it back in week 6 or whenever he was on the show, he should have been a lot more open to making a deal.
Right.
And yeah, I think, again, to Hank's point, Bill should have been looking to make a big deal and really get a big player, and he had the ammunition to do that and didn't. Okay, let's get into the games, the 2 semifinal games this weekend. The 4 remaining teams. We have the Giant Killers, our defending champs. And I think we might see the Pack Bowl tonight. We have a Pack Bowl, and there we go. Very nice, very nice. So Berto's looking to hold on to that for another year. Plus,
It's in one piece, Stick.
You scared me a little bit when you said you had 1 prop. Oh no, 2 props.
There is candy in here as well. I've eaten all the good candy. There's really nothing of any more value in here. But anyhow, that's the Pack Bowl doubling as a candy dish these days.
Okay, Giant Killers +3 this week, playing the Hams. And let's start there. Then we'll come back to the Devils and the Lizards. Berto, how are you feeling? You're starting 3 points up. That's always nice. What's your confidence level?
It's not great right now, to be honest with you. I don't know. The Hams made some good moves. The lineup looks good. Matt Ryan against Pittsburgh defense is that worries me. Yeah, it's going to be a battle. I think I have to get big games out of Foster and Lynch. If that doesn't happen, you know, if one of them really lays an egg, even if one has a very good game and the other lays an egg, I'm in trouble. I need them both to have, you know, double-digit 10, 12, or more type games, both of them. So this guy needs to show up. Not like the last game against the Eagles. I'd love some sort of a performance like this guy had in the 2009 Pack Bowl. He came up big. Maybe a Eric Decker. Maybe a Mohamed Sanu. If I do start Decker, it would be great to see this guy, this Eric Decker versus this Eric Decker. And obviously, if he shows up big, that's a very good sign as well. And then the wild card would be Romo to Terrence Williams, and I'm thinking about that as well. So with Marshall out, a lot of question marks at wide receiver. So I don't know what I'm going to do there yet.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, when you're mildly criticizing Thornburg for not making a move and starting a guy like Greg Olson. When I look at your lineup here and say Jeremy Hill, Mohamed Sanu, and Eric Decker in a semifinal game.
Yes.
I mean, you might not get 10 points off those guys combined. Hey, Brooke.
Yes. No. And Chief, you're right in your write-up. You know, I put some offers out there. I didn't get it done, and I could very well regret that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I like the Hams here. I can't say I've been saying since day one, I think Giant Killers are the best team, but whether it be attrition, whether it be the matchups, whether it be the moves the Hams made, which we agreed were strong, I think the Hams are going to prevail here.
I do too. I think the Hams obviously look better on paper, and I think a little too much Bengals happening for Birdo, and I guess they're playing the Browns. It could be a game, but I don't know. A lot of Bengals.
So a little, yeah.
I like Michael's receivers are good. The Hams receivers are really good.
Yeah.
Sure.
So a little news on the Bengals. So it looks like Hugh Jackson wants to lean on one of these guys a little bit more. If that happens to be Hill this week, and he gets the brunt of the carries, that will be good news because Michael's got Gio in there right now.
Right.
So that could be big. That could be a turning point.
And I think to win this game, and you mentioned it, I think Romo is going to have to be huge, and at Philly is going to be tough order for him.
Yeah, it may come down to which quarterback puts it up. I mean, Ryan's in Pittsburgh, which is not much better. And I guess he's hosting Pittsburgh. That's a little better. But
who says? I don't know if Mike says Atlanta. We might be looking at Roethlisberger against Atlanta.
Yeah, either way,
which is probably better.
Either way, that's going to be a shootout, and that game scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this is the week that Peyton comes alive. Sorry to say, Phil, but hopefully this is the week that Manning gets the touchdowns and not C.J. Anderson, like the 3 last week.
Oh, you can count on it. There's no doubt. Manning will throw 5 touchdowns next week. Yeah.
So real quick, let me tie a couple of around the tube topics together here. Not to use tube and tie too close together. So the Hams, C.J. Anderson, and first off, I was wrong about C.J. Anderson. I said I was a little skeptical that he would emerge as a regular contributor down the stretch here. C.J. Anderson has been the big difference maker for the Hams. He was obviously acquired at the trade deadline from the Amsterdam Packers. On the one hand, hey, brilliant move by Michael, and being aggressive and going out and getting this guy. I'm kind of guessing no other owner made a play for Anderson, but I'm curious. Okay, you did. Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious to know if this was a case where the Hams had maybe a little brotherly advantage in making that deal. If they were just talking with Ralph enough to know, oh my God, I can actually get this guy. But it sounds like you had a chance to make a deal.
Yeah, I try. I don't know who else. I think there were several people, right, Chief, that put in for CJ on IR that week, right?
The only person I checked was the Hams to see if the Hams actually put in a claim on him. This is where I built my collusion case from. Before I realized the Hams half an FA pick, so they went my evidence of collusion.
So I put in I put in an IR pick for him, and then I made an offer to Ralph for him. I can't remember what it was. I can look it up, but I just didn't have the guns, didn't have the ammo.
Yeah, I don't think I think the fact that they're brothers is totally coincidental in this case. Ralph, we all know Ralph's not going to take a lesser deal to help out his brother. It's just not the way it works.
And I wasn't suggesting that. I think there are some. Again, they could have been in contact just by regular circumstance and made that trade a little easier.
I made multiple offers to Ralph for a couple weeks, but I just didn't have enough. He wasn't really interested in. Excuse me. He wasn't interested in 2016 picks, which I have those. I don't have 2015 picks, and I wasn't going to trade away any talent because that's not where I was at. I didn't have the luxury of giving up anyone to make my team stronger. So.
No, and I'm also curious to know if other owners saw the same potential in Anderson, or if Michael was the only one that brilliant. So yeah, there were guys available at the deadline, and Anderson was one of them, and sounds like several people made a move for him. But good for the Hams. He's carrying them right now. Not carrying them, but really making a difference for him. Okay, second game on the docket. Devils, time to wake up, getting their 3 points here, and hosting the Lizards. who really at this point, well, I'll let you guys talk about it, but to me, it's a three-man team basically.
Well, their receivers are pretty good. I mean, with Hilton, Evans, and Wallace, and then of course Andrew Luck is that that guy. I mean, Trey Mason hurt me last week, and you never know when Chris Johnson might run something. They're not loaded by any means, but
Right.
they got guys that can put up points, and as we saw last week, they can compete.
Well, they're gonna feed Johnson, right? He has a revenge game against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And they're gonna give him every opportunity to make him look bad, because that's just who Rex Ryan is. So I think this is gonna be a very close game, and we'll see. I trust Luck more than Breeze at this point. So I want to give the Lizards the advantage, but you're looking at Forte, Alfred Morris, Jeremy Maclin. Outside the QB position, I'm not sure the Devils aren't the better team, but yeah, I can't pick against Luck at this point.
I think this one comes down to Monday night.
It does.
This one will go to the reserve lineups as well. It will be tied 79-79, and Nick will lose it because unconscionably he did not pick up another quarterback somewhere along the road.
That is impressive that he has no backup quarterback. So he makes the Pac Bowl and has no quarterback to start. That will be tragic.
Or
so it will come down to Alex Smith. One of these days I'm going to pick this, and it's going to actually happen. 79-79, go to the reserves, and Alex Smith wins it for the Lizards.
I'll co-sign. I'm with you. That sounds like a great outcome. Let's hope for that.
I can't imagine 2 weeks in a row going to bed Monday night thinking one team won and waking up and finding out the other team won. That was just so bizarre.
Yeah.
But seriously, how can he not pick up a quarterback?
That's poor planning, poor managing, and
It's poor.
typical of Nick's GM style. And that pisses me off. Nick's won how many Pac Bowls? He doesn't care. I care, and I can't win. Nick.
Another year, guys, and no Pac Bowl for the three of us who carpool down to Myrtle Beach together.
We might have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
We'll just take Nick with us next time.
Yeah.
Just to touch on the Devils for one last thing, is Deshaun Jackson, is he going to play? He's 50-50, it says here.
Yeah. I frankly, with that shit show at quarterback, I'm not sure it matters all that much.
I don't either. You should start Marquise Colston and hope for a Breeze-Colston connection.
Well, okay, so we're not going to know the outcome of this game until Monday night. Obviously, we got Breeze going on Monday night. We got Forte going on Monday night. Nick also has Jeremy Maclin going Sunday night. The Eagles D going Sunday night. So the Lizards presumably are going to jump out to a big lead here, and we'll have to see if the Devils can play catch up. But yeah, Nick's got a solid team up and down, and I look over the Lizards, and I know Trey Mason had a big game a couple weeks ago. I know Chris Johnson's, allegedly going to have a big game against Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee changes the fact that Johnson's just not that good anymore. I don't think the Lizards' running backs are good at all.
They're not.
Asiata, Johnson, and Mason is your best guy right now, and he's playing Arizona this week. So yeah, I think if Luck doesn't connect with Hilton, I don't know if the Lizards win this one. But if Luck and Hilton both do their thing, these guys can score with anybody. Okay, we're going to wrap up here, Chief. As commissioner, I don't know if you got a rant for us this week. Any reminders beyond reserve lineups?
No, I put all the reminders in the report, so in case nobody watches this, they would have it.
we can have a little quick commentary on the additional photos from the report today. Really impressive stuff. Big fan.
Hey, speaking of how many people watch this, I don't often go back and look at the number of YouTube views at the end of the week, so I don't know how many people watch it. But I do know the great K-pop tree.
You know that one? Another Hawken production from
hundreds of views, and I think the number seems to keep climbing.
Well, that would be impressive if it keeps climbing. That thing's over a year old, and that was Brooke's class, and they did that in her, I don't know, first grade class. So yeah,
nice work.
Nice.
All right.
I think I'll take an action item in that case to find out that blonde's name.
Please do.
Yeah.
And see what else. Yes, available.
Yeah, let us know on that, please.
Yeah, let us know, and get a phone number if you can.
Let's get her on the podcast.
Yeah, can we get her on next week, Chief? Book her right now.
Only if she's topless on the podcast, though, obviously.
Of course.
You guys will have another year as commissioner to probably make that happen.
Commissioner for life, you make that happen, my friend.
No. Then deal's off.
Our viewership will spike.
Yes, it will.
Surge past the K-pop tree.
The funny thing is, that's not the first time I've thought of that.
I look at that thing I don't watch the actual video, but I see it.
No, I mean the topless blonde on the podcast.
Well, that's for sure.
Or the K-pop tree, for that matter.
All right, Berto, good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, Berto. I wish you well.
One last look.
One
last look.
Hold on to it tight.
Yeah.
I got to say I'm kind of rooting for the Lizards. It's been a while since they've won, whereas the other three teams have all won more recently. But at least for this week, we can root for the Killers over the Hams, and have more to talk about with Berto next week heading into the Pac Bowl weekend. So good luck to our four remaining teams, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday.
All right. Good work.
Thanks, Dick.
Thanks, Dick.